So Joshua, or the author of Joshua, writing this or experiencing this, takes the celestial knowledge of the Assyrians, because they write it in their conquest narratives, and fashioned this story of Joshua around it. The sun stood still. The moon stayed. It gives us when this happened on the 14th. But it is Joshua. Remember, Joshua is supposed to be Hebrew. He's not supposed to be Canaanite. The Canaanites believe this, that when this happens, it's a good omen. So you go into battle with this guy who's just crossed the Red Sea, coming into your territory, and then his deity is the one who causes this phenomenon to happen. What would you think? Or what is the message that the author is trying to portray?
That the deity can control other gods, because when you in one of the texts you read, you said sin and shamash, and
Correct.
so I know one of those is the name of the moon for somebody, so I was assuming the other one was the name of the sun. So it would be saying like you can control those other deities, or that your god or deity is in has more control or all power, something like that.
Correct. So you go into battle with this guy, and the sign that is usually a good omen to you, he is the one who initiates it. On his behalf, though, but not you. So how do you interpret it as a Canaanite? Now, how do you interpret it as the enemy? Oh, wow, this guy's deity is quite powerful. So this is being used as a polemic. I come into your territory, and what you believe, my deity has initiated it on my behalf, not you. So it means that now the good omen is going to be against you rather than being for you. You see where the author is going with this? It's not historical, but he is using as a polemic the genre of conquest narratives by the Assyrians, and he's writing to say that, hey, this deity YHWH actually controls the sun, the moon. What you guys would use as a good omen. That is why it's stated here. It's not stated here as something that Joshua did and it happened. See how powerful YHWH is. He's able to stop this and that. No. The author knows the traditions of the Canaanites, because this is what they also believed, and he's writing a narrative to say that, hey, you know, we control it. The deity that is coming before me actually controls this your tradition or your custom or your beliefs. It controls the celestial bodies. Mr. CJ says he's also leaning on another well-known text to give credence to his claim. Correct. So to explain this as an eclipse, we'll be missing it, because that is not the point here. The point is he is using this as a polemic, a poem, and he's saying that, hey, when YHWH came over to the Canaanites, this is what they believed, and YHWH actually initiates it, meaning that he controls your belief system. He controls astrology, and they're using it against the enemy here, or whoever. No, not the enemy. They are using it to um, 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 as a weapon to convince the Hebrews who may be reading this sometime to come, or were reading it at the time the book is composed. So we see how when we put it in its context, in the Assyrian astronomical text, we see how it clarifies what is going on here, the events described in the poem or in the song. You see something else, and it looks like the author has a fascination for this thing here. In verse 13, it says, and it did not hasten to go down exactly a whole day. Why the fascination of the whole day? Why does Joshua need to extend the 24-hour period so that this conquest would happen in a day and not 2 days? We fought today and then we continued the next day. Why the fascination of the whole day? Because he brings it in there. Okay. Same thing he's doing. He's not moving away or deviating from the Assyrian conquest narrative or the Hittite, the Mesopotamian conquest narrative. He's staying true to that genre. Why do I say that? There was a literary convention in heroic epics of concentrating a king's military prowess into one single year. So this king came into power, and in this year, this was his achievement. So it emphasizes the power and strength that the monarch possesses and can be seen as a demonstration of a powerful nation's might. This is what the nation was able to do. When this Pharaoh took over in that year, this is what he did. We had the same thing in the Hebrew text. In this year, this is what he was able to achieve. Solomon, David, etc. Okay. So it's emphasizing the power and strength of that monarch. We do have in that same convention the use of one day. So in heroic epic narration, another unit of time used is one day. In this convention, we can see in several examples, such as Joshua defeating the kings of Canaan and then Saul defeating the Philistines. It was all done in a single day. And like I said, on this side, it serves to emphasize the strength of the hero, the protagonist in these tales, suggesting that any task could be performed with ease. The deity was able to perform such a mighty feat with ease in one day. So Joshua focuses on it. So the sun stood still. The reason why the sun stood still is to extend daylight period so that Joshua's battle can fit in the conquest narrative of the ancient Near East. Because if you had written that it took 2 days for the conquest to happen, your deity is going to be seen as not powerful. Because when you look around, everybody writes that they are able to do the conquest in a day. So, in the case of Joshua, the sun stands still until the heroic feat is accomplished. This creates a framework of a single day, although long in duration. So it's not a 24-hour day, it's more than that. So that is what is happening here. The day is elongated here by the sun standing still, which ensures that the impressive task can be completed within that period. Because you cannot write that it took 2 days. No deity fights 2-day battles. They fight 1-day battle. But what we should know that the accounts of these 1-day battles are often figurative in nature. That is, it is possible that this is the explanation for why a single day was used to emphasize the strength of the heroes in these tales. I will show you a bunch of them that the extraordinary feat is done in a day. Like someone will say that, I conquered from New York all the way to Texas in a day. Be like, okay, bruh, that's kind of a stretch, but that is how they wrote. And these are some of the evidence. The Annals of Tiglath-Pileser. It offers one of the closest parallels to Joshua in this regard. It is, I would say, unquestionable that this passage provides evidence of the figurative nature of accounts from the ancient Near East and the ability to portray tasks as being achievable within a single day. What does he tell us? He says, with the support of Ashur, my Lord, I took my chariots and warriors, and I set off for the desert. I marched against the Arameans, enemies of Ashur, my Lord. I plundered from the edge of the land of Suhu to this place of Hati land in a single day. I massacred them. I carried back their booty, possessions, and goods without number. Now, just as we saw in Joshua, where the conquest was done in a single day, Tiglath-Pileser I tells us that he did likewise in a single day. But here, the phrase in a single day is used in the annals of Tiglath-Pileser as a hyperbolic sense. It's in hyperbole. Why do I say that? The distance between Suhu, which is on the middle Euphrates, and then the city that he mentions, Hatiland, which is in northern Syria, is too great to traverse within a single day. It's impossible. But then he's telling us that he did this in a single day, because that is how they wrote. He's not saying that he really did it in a single day. That is how they wrote the conquest narrative. So the person writing the conquest narrative in Joshua 10 also employs the single day narrative. Any questions here before we look at Seti the first? He also tells us some very interesting things that he was able to achieve. Okay, now when we look at Seti the second, no, Seti the first, he has an inscription that adds further perspective to this discussion. So what was he doing? As he moved north to solidify his control of Canaan, he receives reports of godlike traits that Joshua displayed in order to accomplish this task. What does he tell us? Okay, let's read it. This is the first Beshin stele of Seti the First. On this day, His Majesty was informed as follows. The despicable foe who hails from the town of Hamath has gathered a large force, capturing the land of Bet-Shean. We talked about Bet-Shean. They had a military post there. That is Egypt. and in league with the people of Pahil. He has prevented the chief of Rehob from getting out. So when this report comes, Seti the first reacts quickly to this report. We are told, so His Majesty dispatched the first division of Amun, mighty of bows, against the town of Hamath, the first division of Ray, abundant in valor, against the captured town of Beshin, and the first division of Seth, strong of bows, against the town of Yanaum. In the space of a single day, they had fallen to the power of His Majesty. So here, clearly, Seti the first victory is presented in the inscription with a hyperbolic emphasis. It is said that he was able to conquer 3 cities in a single day. And it is written to demonstrate his power and prowess. Did this happen in a single day? I doubt it. But that is how these conquest narratives are written, are demonstrated, and then the author of the book of Joshua is doing suit. He's just following what was usually done. But the difference is that these guys are writing historical events. Joshua is not doing the same, but he's using historical jargons, narratives to actually write whatever he is writing. So we are explaining this single day, because Joshua is emphasizing that, hey, this happened in a single day. And the reason why it has to happen in a single day is because that is how it happened in the ancient Near East. In the Hittite, in the Assyrian conquest narratives, is done in a day. That is why the sun, not only is it a polemic against what the Canaanites believed, but the sun had to stay longer so that this conquest will be done in a single day.